Today, I'm back with another physical media ranking video for you all. Today, I'm ranking all the Criterion purchases I made in this month of July. Yes, I'm going to go through every single title there, give you my complete thoughts, my quick reviews, my recommendations, and let you know if you should still be picking these up during this sale time. So let's get into this one. We're going to start with the worst and work our way up to the top, which I think these are all very solid titles, but you got to rank them in some way, right? But first, if you are joining the channel here, seeing this for the first time, you're in the right spot. If you love collecting physical media, DVDs, Blu-rays, 4Ks, doesn't matter. We talk it all here. Any boutique labels, Criterion, Arrow, Kino Lorber, you're in the right spot. Go ahead and mega smash that like and subscribe. That way you stay entertained and up to date on all future physical media rankings. But now let's get into this as I go through these titles. Leave in the comments below, what do you think of these titles? And also, what titles would you recommend out to the community? Let's have a fun time. So first up, we're going to have Chilly Scenes of Winter. Yes, this was completely a blind buy. I did hear good things about this film because normally I would not pick up a movie just based off this artwork. I actually don't really care for this artwork. If you've seen kind of my worst packaging Criterion video, I'll link that in the description below, of course. But yeah, I didn't really care for the look of this initial cover, but the movie was actually pretty solid. It's really a drama or romance type of movie. So you do get a little bit of a spicy romance in there. The main actor, John Hurd, is the dad in Home Alone, if you know who that is. And I think he gives a good performance here. But yeah, there's definitely some intense moments. I do like romantic films overall, even though this is kind of a bad romance and affair, as it will be, unfortunately. So, kind of plays out how you might think it will. But I just like how it's filmed and put together. You're interested in these characters, their lives, what's going on, all that stuff. So there's just kind of that investment quality to this movie. I was never bored with it. It's not an overly long runtime. Now there's great special features here too. So when you're done with the movie, watch all these different special features. There's some interviews and that type of featurettes on there. I even think there might be a documentary on this as well. And this is actually a movie based on a book. So the script's going to be pretty good. So yeah, overall, a really solid, well-made film. Looks to be kind of lower budget though. So you just know if it's in your wheelhouse. I would say more of a art house drama, romantic type of movie if you're into that. Not going to be for everybody though. That's why it's at the bottom of this list, but still very, very solid. All right, next up, we are going to have To Die For. Yes, I cannot resist this face right here. Nicole Kidman. She's a phenomenal actress. I really like her in everything I see her in. She's just one of those actors that can really bring the intensity and really dedicate her performance. So I enjoy this one with her in it. I also love the musical score here by Danny Elfman. And also the soundtrack's really good too. So it's like, what's better, the score or the soundtrack? I don't know. They're both amazing. You also have I'm trying to remember the guy's name in here. Is it Joaquin Phoenix? I think is popping into my mind. Yes, I think he's the one in here as well. So you got a pretty good cast all around. But basically, you got Nicole Kidman's character who wants to, get into kind of the news world and end up being famous. She wants to be a superstar in a way, right? But then, she gets married and there's some shenanigans going on, another affair type of situation, right? And this becomes more of I guess, a murder mystery thriller type of film. So it's very intense, edge of your seat, of course. But overall, I did like it. Once again, I was never bored with this one. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I wanted to see how it played out and definitely stick through the credits because there's a scene going on in the background that's actually really important to the story. So I like how they kind of sneak that in there at the end, of course. And the only major drawback here, which is why I had to put it lower on the list, but I actually quite like this movie and would recommend at least watching it in some way, shape, or form. But if you put something on Criterion Collection, even though, once again, a beautiful 4K disc transfer, the quality is there, you got no special features, and that is an embarrassment for Criterion. I really wanted more here to dive in bonus supplemental wise. You really only got a commentary, a trailer in there, just a very bare bones minimum. And come on, it's a newer movie. You're telling me you can get interviews from some of these actors? I know they're high profile actors, but come on, do something. Do a Zoom call if you need to, but get me some kind of really good juicy supplement to dive into. And because To Die For did not do that, I had to put it lower on the list. But the movie is quite good, especially you're into thrillers. Boom, check this one out. For the performances alone are great. All right, next up, we got to have ooh, broadcast news. Talk about news stories here, kind of that kind of genre theme. Broadcast news is great. It's an Albert Brooks is in here as one of the actors, and I think he might have actually wrote this one. I don't think he directed it though, but I might be wrong there. But yeah, I mean, it's basically you got these characters that are in the news world, right? Broadcast news, of course, and you see how all their drama and relationships are playing out. And basically, the main character is Holly Hunter, I think her name is. Yes, the one lady in Man of Steel. She's so good in this one. She brings a really intense performance. You see how she's trying to succeed in this kind of male-dominated business type of world, and just what she has to go through and all of that. And you got some other good acting talent in there. You have that one lady who is the principal in School of Rock is also in this. And it's great to see all these actors younger. You're like, oh my gosh, this is how they looked when they were young. Wow. So it's really good to have kind of a blast from the past here. And this is an 80s movie, I believe. But you got that Albert Brooks kind of humor. It's a dark comedy. There's some funny moments in here, like when they're racing to get, the movie, or well, I guess the news kind of tape in on time, right? They even try to make that a little bit of an intensity. And then when there's going through layoffs at the end, like you're definitely in those intense, thrilling type of moments. And then you have this love triangle going on, and you're like, oh my gosh, who is she going to end up with? It could go either way. And then how it kind of comes together at the end is really unexpected. You're like, oh, okay, that's how it kind of turned out. But what I like about the Albert Brooks stuff here, that type of flavor of story, is that even if it's not a super, super I guess, happy or overly positive ending. Initially, he kind of continued the ending, and it still works out in a way where you're like, oh, okay, so it still works out for every character, and it doesn't seem so terrible. So he doesn't leave you on a sour note, and I appreciate that because too many movies when they try to go with these kind of dark paths, they leave you on a terrible ending, and you're like, ugh. Why did I watch this? This kind of just says, oh, okay, but in the future here, ooh, we got this going on. So it's not as bad as you may think. It kind of all works out in some way, shape, or form for each of these characters, and I do really appreciate that. But yeah, broadcast news. Don't be sleeping on this now. Like I said, this kind of made me an Albert Brooks fan. I dived into the supplements and all the featurettes and interviews and the documentary in here. And then I started to look up more documentaries on Albert Brooks. And I'm like, you know what? I gotta see more Albert Brooks movies because he did a great job with Defending Your Life, great job with broadcast news. Now I want to dive more into the Criterion collection and look at like Lost in America and different Albert Brooks titles like that, Mother, all of that. Because this movie was just so dang good. So broadcast news, if you're into that dark comedy type of humor, I think you'll get a kick out of this one. It's a really good, just solid romantic comedy. What can I say? Albert Brooks, king of romantic comedies now for me. So I really like this one. All right, next up, we got to have Girl Fight, yes, with Michelle Rodriguez. I remember seeing this one on the TV back in the day. I think I might have streamed it, but I really like this movie. It's a boxing movie. I love boxing movies. You guys know that's like, one of the sports I'm like into watching. It's like, oh my gosh, if I wasn't a YouTuber, I'd probably be a boxer. That's just how much I really like, those Rocky movies. They got to me. But Girl Fight is really good. Michelle Rodriguez, definitely very intense, very just kind of street level, just has a kind of, that intensity about her. And, she wants to get into boxing. Her dad doesn't really want her to get into boxing. Her dad wants his son, her brother, to get into boxing, and you can tell he's not into it. That's not his wheelhouse. That's not for him. No, she is the one who needs to be the fighter. So you get to see that kind of family dynamic play out, and just to see her go through all the training, training montages. I love good training montages. The fights are, decent in here. Maybe there could have been more fights and things like that, but that's not really what it's about. It's more drama than I would say blockbuster actiony fun kind of thing. More Rocky One than say a Rocky Four, as it will be. But you also got romance in here, and then what happens with the romance, and then the boxing situation that goes on. It's like, okay, a little bit of a different twist on the story here. I like that. And so I like how this one ends as well. And yeah, it's a girl fight's pretty awesome. Now, I didn't dive too much into the special features here. Look to see that they might have had a little bit in here, but I don't think it was like overwhelming amount of special features. But I think still better than To Die For. So girl fight. And I had to put this one so high up, even though it's a Blu-ray. It still looked phenomenal. High definition was great for this movie. Once again, I love those boxing movies. I can watch this all the time. It's like my go-to training workout movie. So yeah, because I'm going to rewatch it so much, I just had to boost it up on the list right there. So yeah, definitely going to get the use out of Girl Fight. Highly, highly recommend if you're into inspirational sports drama stories. All right, next up, the best here, the best, the number one for you guys that stuck around. We got to have Pinocchio. Yes, I absolutely love Pinocchio. If you saw my best and worst packaging ranking video with Criterion titles, you see Pinocchio was definitely on the best packaging list as well, pretty high up there, just because it's so cool when you pull this out. You can see the Pinocchio nose, and I won't do that right now because I already did that in another video. Once again, I'll link that video in the description below and probably at the end of this video. But I love the artwork. I love the cover here. And I love this title. And I love that Criterion put the streaming title that I think, was on Netflix, but now you could get it on a physical disc. 4K here. That is so awesome. And also the 4K packaging looks different from the Blu-ray packaging. I like when they kind of change it up a little bit, so that's super cool. And then tons of supplements in here. You get to hear all about the stop motion animation making ofs, and oh my gosh, here Guillermo del Toro talk and the other animators, they go in depth and show you all the different movements. Like, okay, how to move his little face like this and then his arm like that. You're like, oh my gosh, the beauty in stop motion animation is so amazing. Gives you more of an appreciation for that art form and movie making style. And I just absolutely love that. And I love stop motion animation. So tons of good supplements in here. They packed in the supplements. You got, pretty much hours of supplements in this. Just seeing how this movie was made, kind of similar. Wally might have had just a little bit more supplements, but like I said, it's kind of on that par level of amazing supplements for animated titles. So really like this movie too, because it's Guillermo del Toro's version of Pinocchio. It's much more to the original Pinocchio story. It's not Disney's Pinocchio, okay? Don't get it twisted now, all right? It's not your mama's Pinocchio. It's a little bit different, but there's still intense moments in here. There are heartwarming moments, there are dramatic moments, and like I said, I thought it was so artistic and really loved it overall. So I can highly recommend Pinocchio, both just to check out the movie, but I think Criterion did such a phenomenal job. You got to get it just for those supplements alone. You need this. So even though you can stream it out there, I'm telling you, it's so worth it for the Criterion edition. That's why I had to have it number one on my recent pickups. So happy I was able to get this into the collection finally. It's so phenomenal. But there we go. Those were all my recent pickups from Criterion. I was happy I could rank those for you all out there. Once again, you guys are going to have to let me know in the comments below what out of the titles I showed did you really like? Did you pick any of them up? Also, other Criterions you would recommend out to the community below. Let's have those great fun Criterion movie conversations, of course. Also, I'll link a bunch of Criterion ranking videos on the description as well. I've ranked all the Criterions in my collection before. I've done, best and worst lists, underrated, overrated, tons of different ranking videos. Those links will all be in the description below, so definitely check those out after this video is over. Of course, have a great day watching, talking the movies. If you haven't, mega smash that like and subscribe. That way you stay entertained and up to date on all future physical media ranking videos. And of course, you'll love this physical media topic. Mega smash the next Criterion video right now. And thank you so much, my mega membership supporters. If you love talking and collecting movies, consider joining the Mega League of Film Fans through memberships to support content creation while gaining access to perks like shoutouts, exclusive videos, and future topic choices.